Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana, and in front of me I have the cards that I made with the September My Monthly Hero Kit. So I'll just put them to the side and I'll take a look at them one by one with you. The first card, I used the wreath die from the kit to cut out the mushrooms, specifically this mushroom, and that mushroom. And all you have to do is just snip them at the bottom or snip them on the sides to disconnect them from the frame, and suddenly you have these beautiful mushrooms that you can color. I did color these. Oh yes, these are colored obviously with the stencils, so I used ink to color them, the ink that came with the kit. And then for the grass, what I did was I took the die and the stamp that came with this kit, which is the May 2023 kit. And that's why it's nice to have a subscription, because then you can start mixing and matching your kits. So I cut out, well, first I used the stamp to stamp some grass, and then I just cut it out so that there was some grass for the mushrooms to sit inside or sit in. And this alpha die is also a Hero Arts die, and I just cut 2 of each letter, and I made this cute saying, and then I had this border die in my stash, and that is card number 1. Now for card number 2, I kept it really simple. I just colored one of the die cuts with my pencil crayons, which is really pretty easy to do, and then I just cut out some circles, and I did some selective stamping. So for the U, I used the U in Thankful for You, and then to make the me and up, what I did was I took the stamp out and I put it on my block, so it was flipped upside down. So for example, to create the M, I used the M in autumn. So I took that stamp out, I turned it upside down onto a stamp block, and I took my tape and I covered up every letter in this on the stamp except for the M. At that point, I stamped it into the ink. Then I removed the tape, and so the only letter that was inked was the M, and then I just came back and stamped the M. And that's why it's somewhat crooked here. It's not perfectly lined up. It's because it's a little bit hard to stamp individual letters and have them look perfect, but that's how I did it. And so with all these letters, you can create a lot of words. So that's how I did that, and that makes for a really cute and simple and easy card to make. For the third card, I created a 4x4 inch card, which is significantly smaller, and I used the fancy frame die, which is called Fine Art Frame. And I cut it out of some foam, and then I cut it out of the glitter paper that we got with the kit, and then I also cut it out of black to match the background. And before I added the black layer, I took the black layer and I cut out the inside of the frame, which is really easy to do because the frame comes with a line around that inner, it's a frame within a frame actually, and it comes with it's basically cutting out a lot of it for you, but then I just took my craft knife and I just disconnected the rest of the little connecting points, and then it gives you, like I said, a frame within a frame, and that exposes the glitter layer. So you have almost like a matted frame, I guess, excuse me, for your sentiment. And this is obviously craft paper that I stamped on, and pencil crayons work wonderfully with craft paper. They're very easy to use, and it's just a very quick coloring, and I think they look really nice. Okay, so the background of this is a Spellbinders embossing folder, and that's it for that card. The next card, I just couldn't resist using. This is another Hero Arts die. I looked this up on the website and I couldn't find it, so I don't know if they still sell it. You might be able to find it on eBay. It's called Dancing Music Notes, and this really sort of suits this theme of these little animals dancing. You can pretty much put any of these animals on here and use one of the dancing quotes because they really go together. This die, I just love it because you can selectively take out the notes to, you know, there's a piece of black paper behind here, so all I had to do was remove these 6 notes to create a black note, or you could color blend the background to make the notes look really fancy. But in this case, because the dies were colored, I just wanted to leave the background black and white. And once again, I colored the animal with my pencil crayons, which is pretty easy to do, and the pumpkins as well. And then this die is an older one from my stash. I think I got that off of Amazon. Excuse me. Okay, so for this card, once again, very simple. Same thing. I cut out 3 of the die cuts, colored them with my pencil crayons, used a stamp from the stamp set that I just showed you. And for the sentiment, I cut out 3 or 4 layers so that that would stand up a little bit. And then the lacquer pen, what I did was I tried to make the smallest dot that I could possibly make. And I think because I was making such tiny dots, trying to just only let a tiny little bit of dot come out, that the dots were not perfect circles. So I let them dry for 24 hours, and this is the way they looked. Here's some examples here. And because they were not perfect circles, I didn't line them up straight, because then they would probably look weird, right? So instead, I lined them up, as you can see, wonkily, and that kind of goes with the fact that they don't look perfect. And for some reason, when I look at these, I think of mushrooms, or not mushrooms, marshmallows. And that's probably saying more about me than it is about anything else. But anyway, so for this card, I used a 5 by 5 inch card base. So this card is a little bit larger. And I just cut out a whole bunch of leaves with the leaf die, as you can see. And the background is the same glitter paper. And once again, use that frame and some foam. So there's black foam under there. And then I just cut out a piece of the glitter paper to add on top of that. And the greeting is embossed with the embossing powder that we got last month, which is a bronze color. And I think that looks really nice with that glitter paper. It just really matches it really well. Okay, so for the next card, if you're not somebody who likes to color, if coloring is not your thing or you don't feel you're good at it, I can totally relate to that. I never really thought that I was much of a colorist, as they call them, but this is a nice way that you can use those stamps with some color, and it still looks great. So all I did here was I ink blended 3 colors of ink, and those were Worn Lipstick at the top, Abandoned Coral in the middle, and Aged Mahogany at the bottom. And I think it's just the cutest card. And because it's so simple, it's easy to create a set of cards. So this one, I used these 3 inks, Milled Lavender at the top, Tumbled Glass in the middle, and Chipped Sapphire at the bottom. And when you're doing a set, you have to have 3, of course. So for this set, I used Squeezed Lemonade, Twisted Citron, and Pine Needles. Now, because these are Distress Oxide inks, you can go one step further with this. And if this looks too plain for you, or you just want to do something a little different, you can step it up a little bit by, if you use Distress Oxide or any other ink that is reactive to water, you can take a water pen or just a paintbrush and dip it in some water, and then go back and remove the ink. Basically, you just paint the inside of the animal, and you take a paper towel or a microfiber cloth or anything that will sop it up, and you just dab it until the ink disappears. And if you're going to do that, you should really use some sort of ink to stamp with that is archival or is not going to react with water. Otherwise, you're just going to blur your animal, obviously. So that's what I did for this one. And then if you want to take it another step further, I just used some hero transfers on the background. I just cut out a little piece of this one and just sort of selectively placed it around the card and rubbed it off. And this is called Collage Backgrounds. So that makes a quick and easy little set. And for the last 2 cards, I colored the wreath with some, I guess you could say, alternative colors. These aren't traditional fall colors. And I think it turned out really cute, especially this one with the, excuse me, yellow and purple. And the reason I didn't cut out the wreath was because as soon as I stenciled the color onto the card, I got excited to use my Nuvo drops that I don't use very often, and so for this one I used this glow-in-the-dark one that is called Shocking Pink. And as you can see, when I added the Shocking Pink to the yellow, it turned out to be more of an orange color, not really pink, because the color of the ink is coming through. So I really like the effect that that gave. And then for this one I used Red Berry is the name of the crystal drop. And because I got so excited to put the drop onto the mushrooms, I realized afterwards that they were going to take 24 hours to dry, and I was not going to be able to put that through through my die cutting machine, so that was going to be a problem. So I thought, well, instead of waiting 24 hours, I'm just going to fill in the middle with these cute animals. So once again, I colored the middle of colored the animals with my pencil crayon, die cut them, and just stuck them right into the middle, and I think those make a really cute set. So those are my cards for this month. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you have a favorite, please let me know, and I'll see you next month. Have a great day. Bye.